Okay, today I'm going to take you to Serpent Mound in Adams County, Ohio. This structure is what's called an effigy mound, and it is at least as old as the Hopewell Mound-builder culture in ancient North America, possibly built by the Adena Mound-builder culture, which is older than the Hopewell culture, and then the Hopewell culture might have just maintained it. But again, it is at least as old as the Hopewell Mound-builder culture. Now what you're looking at here is a survey drawing of Serpent Mound that is in the book called Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, published in 1848 by the Smithsonian. I believe it's the first publication by the Smithsonian, and it's by Ephraim Squire and Edwin Davis. Now when you get to the place, there's a little tower you can stand on where you can get a good view of the serpent. What you're looking at now, it's kind of hard to see because of the curve of the hill, but that is the coiled up tail down there at the end where those people are standing. And then, as you can see, the tail starts to wind around the top of the hill. So there's the rest of the tail, and again, because it's not flat up here, it starts to curve down there towards the end. Down there towards the end is where the mouth of the snake opens up, and it looks like it's either taking in or spitting out an oval, which again you can't see from the tower that I'm standing on, and I don't have a drone to get a higher shot of it. But here's a picture of the oval at the snake's mouth, and this is the highest picture that I could get of the oval. I was standing on top of a bench down here at this end to get this picture, and I couldn't back up any further because this is what you got on the other side of that bench. Of course, there's a little wall behind the bench so that you don't fall over the edge, but this is the edge where the oval sits. So don't go falling off of there. And I visited this place back in 2015 and also 2017, and when I was there in 2015, I didn't know that there used to be a stone obelisk in the very center of this oval. But sometime in the 1700s or early 1800s, when settlers were first exploring this area, they knocked that stone obelisk down and pushed it off the edge of the cliff. I don't know why, maybe because they thought it was pagan and not Christian, and so let's knock it over and throw it over the edge. Now the book that I mentioned, Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, it does mention that there used to be some stones in the center of the oval that got thrown over the edge, but it doesn't mention the one obelisk. But I found out that the stone obelisk is still there over the edge of the cliff, and you have to hike down to go and see it. So when I went back to Ohio in 2017, Serpent's Mound was a place that I stopped at again. Now, I was planning on meeting up with Wayne May and a group of tourists who happened to be out there at the same time to find out how to get to this obelisk, but because there wasn't enough people to go on the tour, Wayne had to cancel it. But fortunately for me, when I was visiting Mound City earlier that day in Chillicothe, I bumped into some good people I know who live out there, Tony and Lorraine George, and they told me how to get to the obelisk. So, let's go looking for it. So there's the tower I was standing on top of. And here's the coiled up tail. Sorry you can't really see it, but that's as good a shot as I could get. So, let's start walking along this trail. I'm going to speed it up here so you don't have to see my shaky camera too much. You're going to pass through these two trees up here, and then you're going to see this sign on the left. And if you notice up there a little bit further, there's another sign on your left. So between these two signs is the trail to hike down to the bottom of the hill. And there's the trail, right there. So let's go! I also happened to bump into some YouTubers who were filming up there as well, and they got me on film talking a little bit about the place. So I'll leave a link to their channel down below so you can see that. Anyways, we're walking along the trail here, and you can see the side of the ridge there. And there is the cliff that we're looking for. Let's get the view a little darker here. There you go. That's where they pushed the obelisk off the edge. And let's look down and see the obelisk. Do you see it yet? Let's get a little bit closer. How about now? Do you see it? All right, let's lighten the view up a bit. There you go. There's the stone obelisk. As you can see, it's covered in moss, but that thing is pretty big. From what I remember, it was about 5 or 6 feet long. And there it is. Now I'm going to show you a little bit different angle here. There's the cliff. There's the obelisk. And there's bushes in my way, so I can't really get too much on that side of it. Now let's get a little closer look. Anyways, here we go. And you'll notice there's the tip, at least as much of the tip as I could see. So what I did was I cleared away some of the leaves, dug into the dirt just a little bit. Didn't want to really dig too much because that wouldn't be cool. But as you can see, the tip just goes down into the dirt. How much of that tip is buried, I'm not sure. But what's exposed above the dirt, again, looked like about 5 or 6 feet to me. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the obelisk was for, and as I was looking at the obelisk, there was no carvings or writings on it that I could see. But again, it's covered up with moss pretty good. I'm not exactly sure what it was used for, but something that I've heard is that where that obelisk used to be, in the center of the oval, I've heard that if you stand in the center of the oval with a compass, that it will throw your compass off and won't be able to function properly. So that's an interesting little piece of information right there. If you're ever out that way, you'll have to try it. Make sure you go down and see the obelisk, and I hope you enjoyed this little travelogue video of mine at Serpent Mound, and hopefully you'll get to go visit it sometime yourself.